How's it? This is Daryl Webster from Modern Workplace Change. I've started a new segment here called Briefly from the Board. I've got a whiteboard. I'm now using it to try and get my thoughts out there and sometimes using it for online meetings. But I want to recap and briefly go over some of the things that I talked about before I wipe that board away. And I know there's a lot on this board, and this was for a webinar that I did for Zilio on change management within Microsoft 365. Lots of different nuggets, but I'm just going to highlight some of them as we go, and then I'll just wipe the board off. The key thing about change management within Microsoft 365 is that it's not about turning tools on and hoping that automatically people will gravitate to using them. You have to use a technique, and that is change management. And whatever format or model that you choose to use, it's transitioning behavior. And so that's really the other side of it too, that with the roadmap of rolling features out, you're trying to get to a desired state for the technology and for the people. The technology, of course, is how it is used and configured, and for the people side of it is about behaviors. So in one example here, once we've set that vision, is that we have turned on SharePoint and OneDrive, and we're using that to try and drive the use of files in the cloud and collaboration around that. That's a functions and features discussion. For people, it is a case of changing to becoming proficient in uploading, opening, sharing and co-authoring documents. And these sorts of things are behaviors rather than technology, but certainly related to technology. When you choose those scenarios that you want to emphasize, this is really my key way of driving a change management program, is what are the ways that people choose to use the technology. So I like to put the when to use what rather than the what to use when. I like to lead with a scenario and then think about the tools, rather than overwhelming people with lots of different tools and choices and then talking about the scenario. So prioritize those with the people within the program. And then it's about leading change, not driving change. When you lead change, you're setting an example, you're using champions, you're using your executive leadership to set that standard and show that vision. And then you're leading change using 3 different methods, or I like to call them work streams within change management. There's the communication side of it. You've got to communicate that vision, let people know how to change and what's going on and what's about to change and how to prepare. And then continuing to let that communication channel be used for ongoing change. There's the education side of it, or the learning, so that traditionally is seen as training, but it's also about creating experiences for people to engage with learning content and learning from people. And that leads into that last area there about demonstrating change, which is your change network. They're your change agents or champions, they're your executive sponsors, and it's also about creating a community so that this change can persist, that it's an ongoing thing that you're going to need to do within Microsoft 365 because it's always changing. So think about that in terms of change management within Microsoft 365. That's the brief recap from the board. We'll wipe this off and I'll be using it again this week. We'll see you again soon.